Hey ladies, I'm here today to do a super simple eye look with eyeshadow palette number 3. This is the palette with really pretty purples, some light lavenders, some pinks, some golds, everything you need for several really gorgeous looks all in one palette. I love these palettes. They come in a hard case with a large mirror. There are 5 of them plus an anniversary palette that we came out with earlier. That was just a limited edition thing. This one's really pretty. I use it a lot in the spring, but there's so many different looks that you can get from this that you can use it in all of these palettes all year round because there's so many different looks that you can get. Right now I have on all of my base makeup, my brows, my blush, and I have this Sentimental Liquid Splash lipstick on my lips today. It's a real pretty orchid color. So we're gonna go with an eye that will match. All right, so I think today I'm going to start like every other time with my eye primer. Again, this is super essential product to start with, no matter if you're wearing cream shadows, powder shadows, pressed shadows. It's really a great item to start with no matter what. It makes your eyeshadow last longer, it helps it to not crease, and just makes your colors that you use just extra bright. Speaking of colors, I'm going to go ahead and start with the lightest shade that I'm going to use. If you've watched my other couple of videos on the other palettes, I kind of have a system that I go to, and we're going to deviate just a little bit from that system today, but we're going to start the same. So I'm going to start, like I normally do, with a lighter shimmery shade on 3/4 of my lid. And today I'm going to use the Angled Shadow sponge brush. It's a double-ended brush. One side has a sponge, the other side has an angled, flat, soft bristle here. So I'm going to use this side, and I'm going to apply a light shimmery shade here. I think I'm going to use Flippant. I'm not really going to call this a lot of shimmer. It's almost like a mix between a shimmer and a matte. I'm not sure what you would call it. A satin, maybe? See it here? It's not super shimmery like Cheeky or Ecstatic, but it's not exactly a matte like Tickled or Irate. It's kind of in between. So I'm gonna start by just putting that 3/4 of the way across my lid. It's a very light purple shade. We're gonna go for a purpley eye today to match my Sentimental Liquid Splash lipstick. You see it's very light. I'm just kind of tapping that on. No real skill that you have or any tips, you're just putting it on your lid. You can use several different brushes for this because I don't even think you really have to have a particular brush because you're literally just patting it on your eye. I'm then going to use my crease brush for my transition color, and I'm going to go with Tickled, which is like a medium pink matte. I'm going to use, like I said, my crease brush, get a little on here. I'm going to put it right in my crease and a little above my eye socket. My hair's a little crazy today. I've got a hair mask on it, so I'm letting it dry naturally. And that means a little crazy. All right, so I'm just putting it in my crease here. On this side, again, I'm sticking with Tickled. I'm going to put it in my crease and a little above my eye socket here. Just nothing really special about how I'm applying it, it's really just where I'm applying it, which is right in this crease and slightly above on this eye socket. Just going back and forth. I'm not really worrying too much about if it's all over the place or if it doesn't look like I want it at the end, because we're just applying it now. We can always blend it out more if we need to. All right, so there's two colors, my start color on my lid and my transition color. I'm then going to continue with my crease brush, and normally I would do another matte on the outer V of my eye. That's kind of my system, is usually a shimmer light shade on my lid, a medium matte shade in my transition or my crease, and then a darker matte shade on my outer V. But this time I think I'm going to use Cheeky, which is a dark shade, so I can get away with using it on the outer corner, but it does have some shimmer in it. But since I'm going for a purple look today, that's what I'm going to choose. So I'm just dabbing it in, and then I'm just applying it right to this V with my crease brush. So I'm applying it down here towards my lid, out to this corner, and then up into my crease. I like to start out just applying a little and then building that color to however I want the final look to be. Again, it's not really the manner in which I'm applying it as much as where you're putting it. This crease brush makes it super simple to apply where I need to. It's just shaped so good and its size just right to help me get the color in where I want it to be. I'm not adding any more product. I'm just kind of blending it out some where I want it to go. So you can see it looks pretty harsh right now. I'll look down here. You can definitely tell exactly where I applied every single shade. And so because of that, I'm going to use my blending brush, and I'm just going to blend it out some. I'm not pressing really hard because I don't have to. I'm just kind of in circular motions here, just muting the color a little and blending it all in together. I'm going to do that on both sides, and you can just blend it however you want for the desired look. Blend it as much or as little. There we go. And then once you blend it out, like me, I want it to be darker than that on the outside, at least for this eye. So I'm just gonna go back in, and I'm going to add some more Cheeky to that outer area. Just because I do want it to have that depth that having a little darker will give me. All right. I've noticed doing these last couple videos, it seems when I apply my eyeshadow, it's almost like when I apply my mascara and my mouth is wide open. I don't know if I noticed that until I started paying attention when I'm doing these. All right. So it looks a little more smoked out now with having a little more product on the outside, a little bit darker after I blended it out. And really the key is just to blend. Anybody can do this. And I could have done this with several different colors even. You know, I could have chose for my light shade, I could have used Ecstatic very easily. I could have used, I used Tickle this time, I could have used Determined, I could have even used Flippant as my medium transition color in my crease. And then for the outside, I used Cheeky this time, but I could have very easily used Irate in this outer V, just to get different looks from one palette. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a very light shade. I'm going to go back and use this brush here to fill in this gap. You can see how large it is between where my eyeshadow ends and where my brow starts. So I'm going to use Smitten, which is a very light, almost a silvery shade, to give my brow bone a little bit of highlight, and so that there isn't such a big gap. See the difference here between where my eyeshadow stops and where my brow starts, just so it looks all filled in. Again, I'm not doing anything special except for putting that light color in that area and kind of blending it a little bit just with this brush that I'm using to apply it with, so that it all looks like it's meant to be together. That's it for the eyeshadow. I'm going to go ahead and add some eyeliner this time. I'm going to do a darker liner on my lash line on top and then a colorful one on the bottom here, just to give it a more purple shade. So I'm going to use Powerful. This is the liquid eyeliner. Goes on kind of like, I like to compare it to a Sharpie, because you're just drawing it on where it needs to go. Very easy to use. You see here. I'll say very easy to use normally, not as easy to use applying it in my camera. This Powerful shade is a charcoal gray. It's not as dark as black. It's just a lighter gray charcoal. I'm actually going to check it in my mirror here on my palette just to make sure I'm all straight and that it goes all the way down to my lash line. The key is to get it as close to your lash line as possible so that you don't have a big white space between where your lashes start and where your eyeliner begins. And then I'm going to use Younique's eyeliner pencil, and I think this is, yep, Passionate, which is a really pretty purple on my lower lash line, just to make my purples stand out even more. All of Younique's eyeliners are waterproof and smudge proof, so you don't have to worry about them getting all over your eyes during the day. They're really simple to use. This is a pencil, and you can see it's just going on super smooth without much effort at all. And they come in so many pretty colors. And just by adding a different color on my lower lash line, just adds more color to my overall look. All right, I'm going to finish by applying my Epic One Step Mascara. I still really like our fiber mascara. If I'm going out for a date night or an evening out with my girlfriends, then chances are I normally apply my fiber lashes with this Epic to get a really nice dramatic look. I've never had any trouble with the fibers falling in my eyes. The key to that is just putting a really nice coat on of the transplant gel, or I like to use this Epic, then applying the fibers, and then applying a really good sealing application of the transplant gel to really lock those fibers in. But for everyday use, this Epic mascara gives me a great look, and it's just one step. It seems to grab every single eyelash that I have. It also naturally curls them, so I no longer have to use the eyelash curler contraption that I normally use, or that I used before this. It's water resistant, and it just gives me really great volume in one step. which is really nice. I want to say it lasts about 2.5 months. 2.5, maybe 3 months. And it's $24. And you'll see that instead of just kind of getting, well, now I'm getting my eyebrow, instead of just kind of getting the tips of my lashes, I'm going all the way down to my lash line. That way I can grab every single lash to give me really good volume. Sometimes it takes slowing down and taking my time, which I have a trouble adhering to sometimes. I like to add mascara to my bottom lashes. It's not required. Nothing's really required in makeup. It's so much about preference. Preference on colors, preference on application, preference on how little or how much makeup that you normally like to wear. That's why I like it. You can use makeup if you're not this huge makeup lover that goes outside the box all the time and you only like to wear foundation and mascara and a lip gloss. We have you covered. If you like to do a full face with blush and a ton of different eyeshadows and luminizers and highlight and contour, we have you covered too. Or maybe you don't wear makeup at all and you just like the skincare. We have a great skincare line. All right, but back to this look. This is my final super easy look with Addiction Palette 3. Just a nice, pretty purple eye that didn't take a whole lot of tips or tricks. It was just basically, I think, what colors to use and where to put which colors. That's it. Anybody can do this. I am by far a makeup pro. It just takes practice and messing around with application of these colors. Super easy. You can do this. Thanks. Bye.